God wants you to be successful. You see, through the entire world, through all of your life, there's one person who will always support you and be with you no matter what. Because the thing is, in this world, having somebody who's constantly rooting for you and constantly on your side, it's rare. Let's be honest here. I mean, even your parents, sure, they'll love you no matter what, unless, of course, you're in unfortunate situations where your parents are not the best parents or whatever. And my thoughts and prayers truly do go out to you if that is your situation. But God is the one person who will always support you, who always and forever will want the best for you, which means God wants you to be successful. He wants you to go through this journey of becoming a better person. He wants you, and it's going to sound kind of cheesy, but he wants you to be on self-improvement. God wants you to always grow and become better. Because the thing is, God created the tree, right? He created all life. One of the things he created was a tree, plants, everything. All life, it grows and changes and transforms, and it becomes an incredibly more unique and better version of itself. We as human beings are no different. Even though we were created in his image and likeness and created to be the masters of creation, we're created to grow and change and evolve just like all of creation. But there's two forces at play in this world. One force is God. The other force is the evil one, the devil. God wants us to always be on this incredible journey of growing and becoming better versions of ourselves. The devil wants us to not just stay the same and stay mediocre, but to devolve, to regress, to become worse, to slip into our addictions and our life problems and depression and poor mental health and poor physical health. The devil wants us to become worse versions of ourselves. But here's the thing. There are two sides of us. There are two sides of a human being. One side is the higher thing, and by the way, this is supported by science. One part of us, it's a part of our brain called the prefrontal cortex. This part of our brain is responsible for like higher thinking and complex thoughts and communicate like this. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that I'm using right now to make this video. It's responsible for thoughts and advanced communication and things like that. But the weaker part of our brain, the other part, I don't remember the name for it exactly, but a lot of it on YouTube, the term going around lizard brain has been going around. It's kind of a strange term, but whatever. I'm just gonna call it that. The lizard brain is the weaker part of our brain, because you see, when humans evolved, when the world was evolving, we had a basic blueprint for what the brain should look like. But as we evolved and changed, rather than replacing old parts of our brain with newer parts, we just added layers on top of it. So we have our basic core brain, which is responsible for our senses and our basic animal instincts and our emotions. That part of our brain is at the very center of it. But through millions of years of evolution, layers have been added to the brain, giving us our large prefrontal cortex, which gives us our high intelligence. So this ancient primal part of our brain, which is responsible for our basic emotions, it's still in there. And the problem is when you allow this basic primal brain to control your life, this allows the devil to come in and influence your life and completely control you. Because he wants us to fail. God wants us to succeed. The devil wants us to fail because he despises God. And so the best tool he has against us is often our own emotions. God gave us our emotions for a reason. We're supposed to feel things. Emotions are beautiful and they're great and they're very important for human beings. The problem is that often the devil will hijack those emotions. And so it's necessary to control them. You see, a lot of people recently have been talking about how stoicism and controlling your emotions is a bad thing. How you can't just bottle up your feelings and suppress them. That's not good for you. It's not about bottling up your feelings. It's about controlling your response to the world. Because the only thing that you can control, the only way you can actually defeat the devil, because the devil's immortal. I don't think the devil's immortal. The devil can't. Only God can kill it. All this stuff, right? Only God can truly defeat the devil. But the only way we can actually win the battle against evil is by controlling our mind. And so when you only act on your emotions instead of, like, literally, if you have this limiting belief in your mind that you should not, control your emotions, you need to stop that belief, like, right now, because the devil's going to use that belief to control you. You see, your emotions, if you give them 100% power over you, your life is not going to be at its full potential. What I'm getting at here is no matter what happens in the world, because you can never actually control anything, or you can never control anything. You can't control your health. Of course, you can do things to help make it better, but you can't 100% control your health. You can't control whether you live or die. You can get hit by a bus tomorrow. You can't control the weather. You really can't control anything. But there's only one thing you can control, and that's your own mind. You see, life is so much simpler if you can just control your mind. Because if you can control your mind, when your emotions tell you, don't go to work today, don't make that YouTube video, you can just sleep in, you can stay up late. When your emotions are telling you to do things like this, believe it or not, that is the devil trying to control the weaker part of your brain. Because he's not going to try to control the stronger, more intelligent prefrontal cortex. He's going to try to control the weakest part of you, which is your basic emotions, which are extremely, like I said before, they're extremely important, and you don't just not feel anything. Their emotions are extremely powerful and important for your life. But you have to be able to understand when and when not to use them. This is going to be different between men and women. Women tend to experience more emotions at once, things like that, while men tend to only experience one emotion at a time. So it's going to be different between men and women. But the core reality is you cannot always let your emotions control you. There's moments where sometimes, believe it or not, it is great to let your emotions kind of control you, dictate your actions. But you have to be able to understand when those moments are. That's all I got for today. So don't have dreams, have goals, and stay wild.